Okay. Welcome everyone to our Monday night team call. I have a special guest tonight. Actually, Susie usually hosts the call, but she's in the car driving, so it's a little difficult for her. So I'm not sure if everyone knows me, but my name is Teresa Catania, and I've been with Isogenics for about 5.5 years now, and it's been such an amazing journey. But tonight's call, we have an amazing special guest, Kim Aliprantis. She was so kind enough to jump on our call tonight and share some of her amazing successes and tips and things that have been going on in her business. And she's had such an amazing success. She's a 3-star Crystal Executive. She won Crystal Executive 3 times. That is amazing. Congratulations, Kim. I mean, that is such a great accomplishment. She's a 6-figure income earner, and she's also a certified fitness instructor. But Kim, I wanted you to share a little bit about your background, where you've come from, and how you got started with Isogenics, and your story, basically.
Thanks, Teresa. Thanks so much for having me on here. I don't know. I have a very special place in my heart for all of you. Silva, I'll share my little Silva story in a couple of minutes, but actually I'll share it now. So I had been a product user for a while, and I met Jen Rothbart and Laura Cohen, who's my enrolling sponsor. I met them for coffee one Sunday, and we sat down. They asked me to come up with my 100-person list, and I showed up at a Starbucks on a Sunday. Never had met Jen Rothbart before, and I showed up with my 100-person list. And they really were kind of amazed. I hadn't realized at the time that very rarely do people actually make their 100-person list. But that's what Laura told me to do, and I did it. And so I showed up at the Starbucks, and we had a very nice talk. I remember being so incredibly grateful to Jen Rothbart for taking some time out on a Sunday to meet me for coffee. I knew that she had a family, and it was a Sunday morning. And she told me that 2 weeks later was Celebration, and if I was serious and wanted to give this a chance, that I should consider going to Celebration. And so I went home that day, and I told my husband that I was going to be booking a ticket to San Diego. My husband thought that I was just going to be, I had already shared it with my dad and his fiance and my friend Linda, who's on the call, who's a friend of mine for 16 years. And, my husband thought that this might be something I do in some spare time as like a little hobby. So by getting home and telling him I was going to go on an airplane to San Diego to Celebration, you can imagine what that discussion, or I should say fight, was like. But I really did tell him that he needed to believe in me, that if I was going to really make a go of this, I needed to get corporate trained, that it was something I owed to myself as well as to pretty much everybody, and that I had basically, I needed some trust here. And I went there, I didn't know a soul. And as I'm walking in this humongous dark, I was very overwhelmed, and it was amazing. But all of a sudden, I see this adorable blonde girl. And she's so friendly. And I walked right over to her, and I introduced myself to her. And I knew who Lisa DeMeo was at the time. And she told me she was linked to her, and we bonded. And I have to say, Silva, you'll always have that special place in my heart. You had no idea what the heck I was doing. And anyway, so it's great to be here. That was a little share about how amazing events really are. I can't stress to you enough. It's I've never been somebody that's short of words, but when it comes to events and the power of events, I am short of words, because I can't fully describe what those events will do to people. It will change you as a mother, as a person of society, as a wife. And not to mention, it will absolutely, if you take what you learn at the event and you put it into action, you will rock out your Isogenics business in ways that you never imagined possible. Angie, one of my amazing partners in crime, said to me, she put it so well, and she said, and I love her voice, and oh my God, I love imitating Angie's gorgeous voice, and so I'm going to do it. you can do this business and not go to an event, but you're going to make it so much harder for yourself. And it's so true. You're going to make it so much harder for yourself if you don't get to an event and you want to do this. But now I'm going to get back to my quick story. I was a prosecutor. I was an attorney. I loved what I did. I loved helping people. I loved being in the courtroom. I really did. I loved it. But, the stress of all of it. I fought with judges day in and day out. I fought with clients. I fought with opposing counsel. I just fought all the time, and I eventually got so sick, literally sick in my body. I have an autoimmune disease that was undiagnosed at the time, and it took me out of my career, and I had no choice but to be home. And I clawed and fought my way back to good health. I was in a hospital bed. I will say this, talk about gratitude. I do think that I am in a particularly amazing position because I know what it's like to have a body that is literally failing you completely, where you don't know if you're going to be walking out of the hospital. So I have the very worst of the worst, and at where I am now, the best of the best. And I do think that puts me in a place where when I share with people, I can just, I'm right there when people aren't feeling great to explain to them that we don't need to stay there. And it didn't happen overnight. And, I said no to Isagenix for a super long time. My husband is a doctor. We're from New York. We're super skeptical. And I said no to Isagenix for a super long time. And then finally I was confronted with some amazing moms, and I couldn't deny their results. And they told me what they were doing. They said it was that Isagenix thing. And they pointed me in the direction of Laura Cohen, somebody who I did not know at the time. She spoke to me in the way I needed to hear it. I got myself on the products. Within the first few months, it was literally like somebody reached down inside me and turned on a light switch. My fitness performance went through the roof. Speed, running, I've always been a runner, lifting weights, muscle tone in my 40s. And people noticed. And so at first it was just sharing it with some close family and friends, being paid a few $100s, which meant so much to me because at the time I was no longer making money for a few years. And then I told you the rest of it. I was willing on that fateful Sunday to sit down with Laura and Jen, and something in the back of my head said, you owe it to yourself. I had read the book Go Pro. So for all of you who have not read Go Pro by Eric Worre, and I'm sure many of you, if you're on this call, you have, that changed my thinking about this entire industry. That was when it switched from being one of those sort of networky, marketing-y things to all of a sudden being like, no, this is a profession. This is a profession like when I went to law school and I studied to be an attorney. This is a profession. And it's a profession that, in my opinion, in another 10 to 20 years is going to be everywhere. Because moms especially, and I know that there's plenty of guys out there too, but moms especially, we don't want to have to leave our kids and get into the car and commute somewhere and fight for a 3% cost of living raise and do what other people are telling us. And when you tell them that your kid has a doctor's appointment or a chorus concert or a show, your boss is telling you, I need you here. Like, I'm telling you that the times are going to change. And this is where I think we're going to be in the next 10, 15, 20 years. And how lucky are we that we're aligned with this absolutely incredible company, Isagenix. I had no network marketing experience, and I have no doubt that I really stepped in you-know-what by my first network marketing company happened to be this one. Because the longer I'm in it, the more amazed I am at everything. So anyway, that's my quick story.
That's amazing, Kim. Coming from being a lawyer and then into network marketing, and you're creating something so huge, and you're there for your kids, and you talked about the importance of events, and it is so important for all of us to get there. And a lot of us think, I know a lot of people that I've met along the way, they would say, Well, when I start making the money or enough money to get to the event, I will get there. But getting there, if you're serious about this business, it's not an option, whether it be staying connected through our Zoom calls or getting to the events or the local events or, your taste. You started the taste and talks with your team, right, Kim?
Yeah, I mean, I can't take the full credit for it at all. It's, Jen Rothbart's our, my upline. Jen Rothbart, Lisa Cohen, Laura Cohen, really got them off the ground. But just going back to events real quick, I hear all the time, Teresa, about people saying the same stuff. They say, it's kind of expensive. I'd really like to first see if I'm good at this, or I'd like to first see if I can make some money. And I immediately say, I know exactly how you feel. But here's the deal. I was talking, a new consultant of mine is actually coming to Celebration. And at first, it was only about a week ago that she sent me a text and said, well, I first want to see A, if I'm good at this, and B, if I can make some money so that I can go. And I immediately wrote back to her and I said, you're a teacher. Did you first teach and then say, oh, I'm really good at this. I'm going to go to school and get my master's to teach? And did I walk into a courtroom and know how to try a case and then say, oh, I'm good at this. I'm going to go to law school now? Like, that's not the way it works. And what I can tell you is I went to college, many of us did, for 4 years, and we know how much that cost. I went to law school for 3 years, day in and day out. We know how much that costs. In fact, I'm still paying off those loans. When I got out of law school, my first job as a prosecutor in Nassau County, New York was, I think, $35,000 a year. And I worked a ton. And when I left that job, I guess it was about almost 10 years later, I left and I think I was earning maybe $75,000 or $80,000. And I was working my tail off and I was really good at what I did. So when I was really good, they just kept giving me more and more cases. I mean, I had hundreds of cases because that's what, I didn't get a pay raise for those cases. I worked longer hours for those cases. And so here we are in an industry where honestly, all you got to do is eat the food that's going to make you feel freaking incredible and look on isagenixevents.com and get to 2 events, maybe 3 a year. They're about 72 hours and you're going to have the time of your life. I did not have the time of my life day in and day out going to law school, I can assure you. And I've been doing this business now for about 1.5 years. And I'm teaching my team how to do exactly what I'm doing. And I'm earning 6 figures now. And it's just going to keep going and growing and growing because I'm throwing myself. And that's the beauty of this too, is that, I could have stayed as a lawyer, climbed the ladder, whatever, but that was all for me. Like, think about what I'm doing, what we're all doing now, which is about everybody else. It's about who can I help today? It's about what rank advancement bonus is, Angie going to, which actually I know which one she's going for. And, Linda, working with her goals, and Kerry and Kara. I mean, and the beautiful thing, like Stacy's on the call right now. This is a girl, everyone. This is the beauty of what we do. So Stacy and I were like this in elementary school, and come middle school, we lost touch. And through Facebook, she reached out to me. And like when you have that special place in your heart for some of those childhood friends, like memories, like I tried Kraft macaroni and cheese for the very first time in Stacy's kitchen. This girl, we shared a room together at kickoff last year. It's as though time never passed. And I know what her goals and dreams are. And I'm trying to help her get there. That is, if I didn't get another paycheck again, like that to me is what makes me go to sleep at night with this huge smile on my face. I mean, like sitting there with Stacy and catching up on 20 years. I mean, you can't get that in any other industry, I'm really sorry to say. And if the only thing that I got to do is hear no a few times, I'm willing to hear it a few thousand times if it's going to bring me back in connection with people like Stacy, or if it's going to bring me this phenomenal soul like Angie, who's somebody who's now my best friend that I didn't know. So, this is the power of what we do. And does it get any better? Really, does it get any better than this? I think I can handle a few no's in order to be able to have some of these amazing relationships to grow and to help people realize their dreams, which, by the way, you help other people realize their dreams, and it's just automatically going to make you realize yours. Mm-hmm. It all works together in this ultimate, beautiful democracy.
Love it. I'm so happy that you touched on the rejection part of this, because I believe that can be the hardest part for some people. When they get those few no's, it takes them right out of the game, where they get the rejection, or if it's not ready, they're not ready right now. And if someone doesn't call them back, I know for some, it paralyzes them. And, can you kind of talk about how, I know you talked about you'd rather hear some of the no's so you can get to those yeses and change those lives, but how do you get past that personally? Or how do you coach your team to get past that? Because not everyone is like you, where you can get through those no's.
Believe me, yeah. I have wall kicking moments, guys. Let's be real here. There are days where, goes by, you have a couple of people you think are going to enroll, then for whatever reason, I had a woman today that was supposed to come to my spinning class. She was all ready to enroll. She texted me that she couldn't come because she had to schedule a doctor's appointment. She needed all day to schedule that doctor's appointment today. Mm-hmm. So, we get it. There's two thoughts to this. It's one, that don't deny that you're going to have wall kicking moments. You're going to have them. I'm sorry. That's part of this business. You're going to. And in the beginning, my wall kicking moments lasted for a few days. They were pretty tough. You doubt yourself. The person who you thought was going to be a rock star isn't. They're returning their pack. People that you thought for sure would be, excited, and they're really blowing you off. But you just have to keep going. And what I would tell all of you is to go for the no. And if you haven't read the book, Go for No, read it, because it really makes you take stock of what it is that you're doing. And actually now, and it doesn't always happen, but now when I have a week of double PIBs or even triple PIBs, and I didn't get enough no's, I will go to sleep at night on a Sunday, and I know in my heart of hearts, I did not talk to enough people. I didn't talk to enough people, because the way I know I'm talking to enough people is if I have a lot of no's and hopefully a few yeses in a week. Mm-hmm. And to just know, if I have those, ultimately I want a few yeses, right? Because we feel really good when we get a couple yeses. We don't want to just go to sleep on a Sunday with all no's. But really, on those weeks where I've only gotten 2 or 3 yeses and I got no no's, I know I probably should have spoken to more people that week. And that should be what we all strive for. Mm-hmm. So it's going for the no, and it's going for a lot of them. And I know that inside, I've always wanted to do this. There's only so many hours in the day. But, I've thought of doing some team contests where we try to, give some kind of a fun prize for the person who gets the most no's in a week. How awesome is that? It's all fine and good that you get 2 yeses and you get your double PIBs. But if Carrie calls me and she's like, I got 20 no's. I'm going to go, woohoo, that's phenomenal, Carrie. Really think about that. If you get 20 no's in a week, think of how many conversations you're having. And again, I am not saying that this is, you're supposed to go to sleep and go, oh, I feel so wonderful about all my no's. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is it's okay to kick a wall, but but you have to remember what your why is, why you're doing this, and know that the only way you're going to get there is by so many conversations. And we all know the statistics, right? Mm-hmm. For every 20 conversations, it's maybe 1 or 2 that might say yes to us. And so those are the numbers that we really are striving for. Am I getting to those numbers every week? No. It's a goal. It's something that I strive for. And it's something that we should all strive for. We all want to set goals that are larger than what we may be capable of. Because then if we fall a tiny bit short, think of how far we've gone. So, I don't know if I answered your question, Teresa. It is hard. That's why you want to have some accountability partners. You want to have some team members that you can complain to in the moment and then be done with it. I mean, I have people on my team and they'll call me and we get it out and it's like we move on and we move forward into action again. Like we know that we can't sit in that. Sitting in that is just not, it's not getting us anywhere. And also the other part of that is, oh my God, did I lose my thought? I think I may have just lost my thought. I did just lose my thought. Let me think but I don't remember what I was going to say. If it comes to me, I'll mention it.
But it's so true. We have those wall kicking moments, and if there's a difference, we have a choice. We can stay there, or we can just get it out and move on from it, and stay in that action. And talking about staying in that consistent action, what does a typical day look like for you? How do you manage your time? And I know today we talked about consistency. So how does a typical day look for you in your income producing activities? What are you focusing on every day?
I am focusing on, I make sure I am posting every single day about Kim, about Isogenics. If I've got people marinating in Real People Real Results, it's super important that I show up there. It is following up every now and again with the people that are still on my tracking sheets in Real People Real Results. I teach fitness classes Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and I get my kids off to school. So obviously, I wake up earlier in the morning. I go through all my Facebooking stuff, my emails. I do that religiously. I gave up the news in the morning. I did. I used to be so on top of all current events, and I gave it up. My dad will come over. I mean, I'm a lawyer. I used to be like up on everything. My dad will come over and go ranting about what's happening in the world, and I will just be completely honest and say, "There's no BV in TV. What's going on?" And my dad starts laughing. He thinks that's hysterical. So I do that a little bit in the morning. I get my kids off to school. I teach fitness classes. I'm trying to connect with people there or in the gym. And then I come home and it's into action. I try to reach out to at least 2 or 3 product users and see how they're doing. I am reaching out to a few of my consultants to see how I can help them and move them along, or checking in with my rock stars and really just trying to see how they're doing with their next goal and what I can do to help them. Okay. I am trying to do some new reach outs through Facebook, although I'm not as, I try to send a few messages a day to people that I've just recently added to my Facebook friends list. I love the birthday messages that Jessica Regner spoke about. That takes no time at all to just wish somebody a happy birthday. And I'm aiming every week for those double PIBs and to rank advance some consultants. I have a list of people that I envision as becoming a consultant, and I try to chip away at those conversations as much as I can. And that's what my typical day looks like. Then come 2:30, 2:20, I'm off because I gotta get all this stuff ready for my kids. They come off the bus at 3:00. They all have dance. Every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they are busy after school. So from 2:30 until about 4:00, I am not really at all on for work at all. If they're at activities and I have a few minutes to jump on and answer questions or messages, then I'll do some follow-upping while I'm sitting there at my kids' activities. And then at night, maybe 2 or 3 days a week, I'm on calls. I try to do my own team calls now on Sunday nights. I think that they're super important. I will participate in our Healthy Happy Hour, which our Boston team does religiously every single first Wednesday of the month. We do them on a location, one of the conference room. We will do them without fail. And I will go without fail. I go whether I have 3 prospects coming and 10 team members, and I go when I have no one coming. I show up. I don't think I've ever missed one, ever. And it's super important that I'm consistent. And I was talking with you and Susie about this today. we all want a team, right? We all are hoping to, inspire people and help people grow and to really realize what truly everyone is capable of, which is greatness. But your team will only do about 80 to 90% of what you as a leader are willing to do. So if I know that I have to do these things over and over and over again because I want my team to do them, and I honestly understand that they may not do everything that I'm doing. I actually do have a couple of people that not only do what I do, I think they push me outside my comfort zone, which I'm so incredibly grateful for. A lot of them happen to be on this call right now, ironically. Surprise! That's what this is all about. We have to constantly do the do long after, I know Lisa says this all the time, long after that feeling of euphoria leaves us to build this. We still have to keep doing the do. We have to do the mundane over and over and over and over again. I think it was 2 weeks ago of the Belly Buster. I think I had about 7 prospect conversations in a day. That was probably my longest day. I honestly did not want to do another one at night. I did 7 of them and my throat was hurting me. I mean, I know I've heard Lisa DeMeo say it. I've never experienced a lot of those days, but I did that day. And I truly didn't want to go into conversation number 7. I wanted to punt it to another day, and I did it anyway. And you're trying to stay engaged and ask questions, and you want to show up for people, and it isn't always. And some of those conversations obviously resulted in a no. I mean, I didn't enroll 7 people that day, but I just keep doing the do. And we all have to. If this is something that we want to create in the pockets of our time, we have to do the do. But I don't. I do fit this in the pockets of my time, and I try to make that a priority because that's why I'm doing this. I'm doing this so that I can be home, drive my kids to their dance lessons and be present when they play the piano, and to be able to put them to bed most nights. Even if I have to be on a call, I was able to kiss them. That's all super important to me.
No, I agree. I definitely agree. We want to be there. We want the time freedom. And this is why, I mean, we all have our whys, but we're all kind of looking for some sort of the same thing. We want the time freedom to do what we want, when we want, and with who we want. So that's amazing, Kim. You went Crystal Executive 3 times. Okay. Now, how did that happen? I mean, how do you take a product user and share and cast the vision and show them what is possible? How does that look for you? Like, what are you doing? Like, what kind of culture have you created in your team where these results are happening for you?
And this is something that I'm really trying to instill more in our team. I really know in my heart of hearts that this has to come from the very first conversation that we have with people. And the way I couch it, because let's be honest, most of the people are approaching us for the products, right? It isn't about the business. And so I am generously listening, finding out their needs, seeing how I might be able to help them. And when they're ready to get started, and even when I say that to them, I tell a little bit about my story. And my story is definitely about how, after being so sick and being home, what it felt like to be able to, because I felt so incredible in my body, to be able to share this with some family and friends and earn that money, and how great it felt to have that money. So they hear it right from the beginning in my story. And then when they're ready to enroll, I like to be as real with people as I possibly can and tell them where I'm coming from. So I'll say to somebody, I understand that this may be the furthest thing from your mind right now. And I totally understand that because that was me. But you need to know that equally as amazing as the products are, there's an incredible opportunity that's attached to Isagenix too. And when you feel awesome, when you start looking, your skin starts to look amazing, you start to take off weight, people are going to ask you what you're doing because you look so incredible. And instead of just saying thank you, I think that you might want to consider saying, thanks, you need to talk to my friend Kim. It's this awesome nutritional program. Because with a few people, you can just earn back all your product costs. You can earn a supplemental income on top of that. You could go on that trip that maybe you haven't been able to go on. You might even be able to create an additional stream of income that might be able to change your family completely the way it's changed mine. And again, might be the furthest thing from your mind, but I just want you to know that you deserve to have that information. And if that's something you're ever open to hearing more about, I'd love to share. I'd love to be able to share that with you. And, you know, you know where to take it from there. I mean, most people will say, that's great. That's awesome. You know, if this works for me, I might think about that. And I usually leave it at that. And then when I connect with them again, obviously I want to support them as much as possible through their first 30 days and make them have the most incredible product experience. But I do connect with my product users 5 days before their first auto ship. And again, it's dripping on them. And we talk about this a lot in our team. I really love to ask people during that conversation if they are a 1, a 2, or a 3. And I will say, are you a 1 where you're just a happy customer and you're totally fine paying for your products every month? And that's great. 85% of Isogenics people are happy customers and we love them, and that's totally cool and fine. Would you say that you're a number 2 where you would like to maybe get your products paid for, share it with some close family and friends and see what happens and maybe earn some extra income? And does that feel great to you? Or are you maybe a number 3 where you might want to sit down and learn about the power of this company and really how this can be a side business, or it can be something that you create alongside what you're doing right now to create something that really could absolutely change the financial blueprint of your entire family? And I let them answer, and I get 1s. And you know what? I celebrate the 1s. You know why? I know where they stand. I'm done for now. Like, I don't need to keep going on about find your 2, go find your 2. Like, and it feels like you're dragging people. It doesn't feel good. So I want people to tell me that they're a 1. Bless you. You want to be a customer. Fine. I'll celebrate you. Now I know that I need to only be talking to you for now about, products. How are your cleanse days going? That's awesome. And, we have a team success Facebook page. And so they're going to see my posts celebrating my team. And, I do that, with rank advancements. And so they'll see my posts. And if, further on down the road, I may revisit it again. I mean, I never count somebody out, but I do celebrate the answer and I don't try to convert them. And I love getting the answers because then we know where people stand. Mm-hmm. And if they tell me that they're a 2, that's fabulous. But now we have to ask them whether they're open to making a list, reaching out to people, and whether they might be willing to post on Facebook, and to see if we could actually set a deadline for it. It's super important to set those deadlines. Otherwise, it's words, and you're chasing people. Again, we're chasing people, and it doesn't feel good. So I always like to say, that's awesome. You're a 2. Phenomenal. Make a list of 10 people. Who do you know that might want, to lose some weight, energy? Do you feel comfortable making a list of 10 people? When do you think you can make that list by? That's great. Can you get me on the phone with some people from that list within the next week? Is that something that you feel comfortable with? Always asking questions. Is that something that you feel comfortable with? And I'll tell them, I'll say, because I know that if I don't have a deadline for me, then what happens is it won't happen. Like, I need a deadline. So I'm assuming that maybe you might feel like you could use a deadline too. Would that be helpful to you? I don't want it to feel pressure. I don't want it to feel bad. If that doesn't work for you, please tell me. Mm-hmm. But obviously you've just told me that you're a 2, and I'd love to see you get there. And just like when you join a gym, you set a goal. Just like when you go to, work, you set a goal. Just like with Isagenix products, you set a goal. It's the same thing. It's just the same thing.
Yeah, no, I love that. Not pressuring, you want to meet people where they are and find out what they're looking for, because sometimes we think that they want to go all in, and like you said, we're dragging people, and that's exhausting, and we're not meeting people where they are. So that's a great tip for that you just shared. So when you talked about goals, so do you set goals for yourself, like daily goals? I know we talked about this a little today, weekly goals, short term, I guess 30-day goals. I mean, how do you prepare your goals and plan out your weeks or your days?
I mean, I plan out on Sunday nights what my weekly goals are. They're usually very similar these days. It's to try to enroll at least 2 people a week. It is to try to create 1 to 2 consultants a week. Mm-hmm. I set almost the same, and with specifics, who are the people? I write down like my, hot prospects. I write down the consultants that I envision that I would like to get to consultant. Different types of events, that I would like, different types of thinking outside the box type of events that I would like to do. I make a list of those and I would want to move forward with those. I'm just looking at my list right now. And then it's about reaching out to 5 new people and following up with product users that are relatively new. So, these are the goals that here, I have something right here. My messy office, but it works for me. Talk to 3 new people if you can in person. Try to talk to 3 people on Facebook. Follow up with 3. Try to plan some events. Get those double PIBs and try to advance some of your team members, whether it's consultant or, I know some of my team members that have specific goals and I'm always checking in with them. That's what I do. And I mean, like I said, it's nothing fancy, guys. It's the same thing. And there are plenty of weeks I don't hit those goals. Plenty. It's okay. Like, as long as I can put my pillow down and know that most of those days I have come close to doing a lot of those action steps as much as possible. Like, I have them written down. They're in my date book here. They're in my date book. They're pinned up on a sloppy piece of paper on my pinned thing. And as you can see, I have I have my big goal there. Like, I'm very messy, but I'm sort of organized messy. So I have daily goals, weekly goals, big goals, and I'm staring at them. And, there are days where I spin my wheels a little bit. It's okay. We all do. We all have those days. But if we want to do this, you have to do the do, it's like, what's the saying? I forget what the saying is. I'm so bad with those things, but like a dream, it's not a dream without a goal. I don't remember what it is. Whatever. You all know what I'm saying. Yeah. But I mean, like, we have these dreams, but they're always going to remain some like wish upon a star unless we actually like get into the trenches and do the do. It's like, show me, don't tell me. Oh, a dream without a goal is a wish. Yes, that's it. Thank you. That's exactly the one. Thank you so much. Oh my God, that's it. But that, I wish I could tell, the people that tell me that this doesn't work, or, I reached out to a few of my friends and they told me no. It's like, I just want to say, like, I get it. I totally get it. I have 4 best friends in my life that are not in Isagenix. One who was, and he's no longer. You can sit in that and let it paralyze you, or you can bless and release and go find the people that really could use us, and to just keep going and finding new people. And that's so far thank God, that's what I've chosen to do. And it's been such a gift, Teresa. Like, God, I never, ever, ever would have imagined this at all. Like, every Monday we get paid like clockwork, and I honestly do not do this. I love, it's such a gift to get paid the income that I do, but I don't do it for that. And I honestly, when I met with Jen Rothbard and Laura Cohen, Jen asked me what I wanted. I said I wanted to make $300 a month and to help pay for groceries. And Jen Rothbard had coffee in her mouth, and she sort of started spitting it out, laughing. And I didn't know if she was laughing at me. And she was actually, the joke now is, I show up with my 100 person list, and she knew that I was going to be making $300 a month, like within a couple of weeks. And I was. I mean, I think like 2 weeks later I was. And so that's the power of this. It's just, all you got to do is speak to people and listen to people and what their dreams are, and just try to help people. That's it. That's all it is.
I totally agree. I couldn't have said any better myself. It's just connecting and finding out what they're looking for in life. And we have the solution. So I totally agree, Kim. I think it's awesome. Now, I want to open it up to questions. I know we have a few more minutes. But before I get into questions, I wanted to remind everyone, May 20th, there's a Super Saturday in Old Bridge. I know the link is out there on Team Evolution. And a lot of the pages up there, but it's with Angela Maresca. Susie Giacchino is going to be also hosting, and PK Smith. So I think it'd be a great event to go to, get your people there. And again, the link is out there. So I wanted to remind everyone of that. But does anyone have any questions for Kim, anything specific? We do have just a couple more minutes left. You can just unmute yourself if someone has a question. Anyone? Susie, are you still on the line? Okay.
Yeah, I'm on here.
Now, do you have any other questions for Kim?
Yeah, did you ask her? I'm not sure because somebody called in, so I had to ignore the call. Did you ask him how she starts someone who's interested in the business? Like, what's their first steps with them?
Yes, Kim, you did get you talked about that if there are 2 or 3, and
okay, yes,
you
okay.
did touch upon that.
That was all. I thought it was fabulous. You girls did a fabulous job without me.
Does anyone have questions? Are you sure?
I just want to say congratulations, Kim.
Yeah.
It's so many people on the call have such a hard time getting to Crystal Executive one time, let alone 3 times with brand new people each and every time. You're showing everyone that it's, it's so duplicatable. Anyone can do this. You're doing the do, you're walking the walk, you're talking the talk. How can you expect the team to follow you if you're not doing the steps yourself?
Yeah, and it's not, and it's not easy, guys. I mean, I don't have 30 consultants right now. I have a lot. I mean, I have 20 something consultants. But it's not easy. But I loved the way, I think it was Laura Stevens, she said we need to keep it simple, right? It's finding 10 people who have 2 people that eat food. Really, like that's what it is. It's finding 10 who each know 2 people who eat food. And if we can really keep it that simple, I think we can all find our happy product users and try to help them find their 2 people and really try to advance them, to show them what it's like to, how good it feels to kind of be helping people and having their own circle and earning those double PIBs and trying to share the vision with them of just getting a taste of what this could be. So, thank you very much for that. I mean, it's like I say, I do this for my team because it's truly to show people what's possible. Because I know that if I can do this, anybody can do this. I'm no different than anybody else in isogenics, and we all know we have people of all ages and of all backgrounds that are doing this. So none of us are any different from anybody else. We can all do this. We can all do it.
Yeah. And the thing is too, Kim, that I wanted to say is I remember last year going to New Year's kickoff. I think it was New Year's kickoff anyway, and seeing your big, huge face. No, actually it was Celebration in Vegas. Your big, huge face as one of the top people earning the pools for Millionaire in Action. I mean, you totally blew away the pools a few times already, which is amazing. And you have to let everybody know why it's so important to get to executive and stay executive.
Oh my God. I'll tell you, it's like hitting the lottery when you're an executive. I mean, seriously, between the 10% match on all your consultants, which is incredible income. I mean, I earn an extra 5 to 8 cycles a week, guys, from my consultants, my incredible team. Multiply 6 times 54 times 12 months. Think of what that income is. Then you're also, it's the leadership pools, you know, and I mean, Carrie Casey knows what that's like. Carrie Casey is on her way to hitting Crystal Executive for the second time. I mean, you know, getting to executive and staying there. I mean, I heard it before I was an executive about how much more there is. And there is just no question. It is all your rank advancement bonuses. It's the 10% match. It's the pool money. It's, what am I missing? There's just, you know, I honestly kind of lose track of it because there's a lot. I mean, your income just get to executive, you know, and people tell me this all the time, and I know that we're over time, but people will say, I want to get there organically. I want to make sure that when I build those consultants, that they're going to stay consultant. And that's fabulous, guys. But guess what? This business is just about constant building. And you may have 10 rock star consultants that want this so badly, but life happens. And a lot of those people just they aren't going to be there. So get your 10 consultants, celebrate, buy yourself flowers, go out shopping, and then the very next day, just start going back. You got to keep going. You got to build it again. It's celebrating and then repeating. So get to executive any which way you can. And yes, stuff is going to fall out. That's part of the business. It's natural. That's how this works. And then start building more consultants so that you're constantly bringing more people in. That's the name of this. That's how this works.
Yeah, and I feel like we never really arrive until we get to the point where we're at least a level, like we're earning a 7-figure income annually. Then we start taking a break. But until then, we got a gun for it.
Yeah, I agree, Susie. I totally agree.
I want to say thank you so much for getting on the call tonight. We really, really appreciate you. Loved all of your tips and all of your insight. You know, wow, like for me, I would think, how could I approach an attorney, a prosecutor, somebody so successful? But then you put it into layman's terms, we're all the same, right? We're all born the same. Our blood is the same color, and it's just people.
Oh my God, so true. Like, I'll tell you, people are suffering, they're doctors. It just don't make assumptions about anybody. Really don't. We're doing, approach everybody like a blank slate. That would be the only way I could just approach them that way, because it doesn't matter what the title or the job is. It doesn't make any difference. We are absolutely all the same. Listen, all of you, thank you so much for, I don't know, part of me is like, why would you even want to listen to me for a half an hour? And it's really, it means the world to me that you all got on this call really deeply. And thank you so much for having me. And if I can help in any way, please don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you, Kim. And thank you, Teresa, for taking my place. I had unfortunate circumstances that were beyond my control. So I love you both. And Teresa, wrap it up.
All right. Thanks, guys. Again, thanks, Kim. I can't even say enough. We really appreciate you being on our call tonight. And you're just amazing, and you're rocking it out. And you're really just there for your team, and not only for your team, but for us too. So we're so grateful to have you on the call tonight.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right.
Thank you, Kim.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone. Thank you again.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.